I'm Colleen.
And I'm Caitlin. Welcome to our CrafterNoon adventures. Today we're going to be paper quilling a heart. So paper quilling is known as the art of cutting paper into long, thin strips like this, rolling and pinching the pieces into different shapes, and then gluing the shapes together to form a decorative art. So today we're going to be making a heart. They usually come in packages like this. There are a bunch of them, and there's a little bit of glue holding them together at the ends. I've noticed that if you take a bunch of them off and put them in a box, they tend to get very messy. So there is a way of like hanging them to keep them nice and straight for when you actually need to use them. There are very thin strips like this, and then there are thicker strips too. So I'm using a very thin one. And I'm just going to pull the end off of each side and pull off two pieces like that. Okay, so you need two pieces. This is called a slotted tool, and if you can see here, there is a slot in between that you're going to put the paper through. Of course, you could roll this up with your fingers too, but this makes it a lot easier and faster. There are also things that come in kits like a curling coach or sometimes like a big pegboard that has these kinds of circles or triangles or squares in them. And basically when you release the coil, they'll only open up to 16 millimeters, 13 millimeters, 1 millimeter, whatever you want to do. So there are many ways to go about this approach. I usually don't need to use this for very simple projects like this. Sometimes they'll give you tweezers in a set to hold the end together when you glue it. And that can be very helpful as well. So you're going to roll two strips. You're going to put your paper in between the slotted tool so it gets held like this. And then you're just going to roll it up. So I just pulled the tool out, and now you have this pretty tight curl, and you're going to release pressure just a little bit. And this, of course, takes some practice. You want to release the coil for as big as you want your heart. So I'm going to release it to be a pretty loose looking heart. Okay. When you're happy with the way that the shape is turning out, you're then going to take your glue. You really don't need a lot. Of course, I'm probably going to get glue everywhere. You just need a little bit on the ends. And here is where your tweezers, if you don't want to get messy, but you probably will, your tweezers can help kind of keep that closed, and you can hold it for a little bit, maybe push some of the glue around so that it dries as quickly as possible for you. You will get messy, I'm sure. Okay, then you can put that one down, and we're going to do exactly the same thing to the other one. Sometimes if you want, you can put a little pressure weight on the curl so that it doesn't curl up in one direction. Okay, so you're going to put the next piece in between your slotted tool, and you're just going to turn. I usually turn away from myself. That's the easiest way I found, and I hold my thumb here so that it makes it nice and straight, and I can kind of control whether it's going to the right or left and keep it centered. Okay, and when you come to the end again, I pull very gently out from the center. I find where the end is, and I release tension in between my fingers. Okay. And then I want to make sure it's about the same size, and oh look, ours is already coming unglued here. Okay, so I want to make sure it's about the same size. I think I let this one go a little too loose here, so you can always kind of pull the end back here like this and make it a little smaller. Okay, and then you're going to glue again the ends. Just a little bit goes a long way. And I'm going to hold it down with tweezers for a little bit. Okay, so now you should have two circles like this and a bunch of glue on your fingers. And don't worry, there's more glue to come. So now, once you feel they're a little bit drier than they were before, you're going to squeeze, you're going to pinch and make a teardrop shape. So remember, this is going to be one half of the heart, and then the other side is going to be the other half. So you want them to fit together like that. And then you're going to do the same exact thing with the other side. And see how they look together. If you want to do a little extra pinching here and there, you can. This one doesn't look exactly the same as the other side. And once you're happy with your two halves of your heart, you're going to, of course, glue them together, and this is going to be the last step. Again, you don't need a lot of glue. And you just push them together. And of course, from here, you can kind of continue to shape them until you find that the shape really looks like the heart you were envisioning. And once the glue dries, you won't be able to see anything, but this is essentially your paper quilled heart. It gives you a really neat design of these two circles in the middle, and every single piece that you make, if you make several of these, they're each going to look a little bit different depending on where you squeezed and what kind of pressure you made. And you can put these on cards, you could just leave them as decorations, you could put them on your fridge, you could make magnets out of them so you could put something on the back. And that's it. We hope you enjoyed today's craft. Most projects we demonstrate can be made in under an hour and require a few basic tools or supplies.
Have questions or suggestions for future videos? Use the comment section below and we'll add it to our list. Thanks for watching, and remember the Makerspace mantra.
The only limit is your imagination.